place, Jamie Whittam, number 8, Suzuki in 3rd place, Troy Corser, number 11, Ducati. What more could you ask for? Every breed of bike that really matters, bar Yamaha, are there on the front row of the grid, and I'm sure Yamaha won't be very far behind, because Nori Haga was paid tribute to by Lester Harris, the Suzuki team boss, for the way that he has adapted to this track, as has Peter Goddard, 2 guys who'd never seen the place before. And of course Colin Edwards on the inside of the 3rd row, the outside of the 3rd row of the grid. He too is an A1 ring rookie. Right, we wait for the lights to change. And they go green, and Aaron Slide did say that, oh, and Fogarty's gone right up the inside of, on the, oh, Foggy nearly got through there. Did he make it? He got a uproarious drag off the grid. He's round the outside of Hodgson. Hodgson got a blinder from the 2nd row as well, and Aaron Slide initially got a good move off the front row, but then he just got swallowed up. Fogarty was weaving his way through, finding the gap, forcing the gap, because he said if he could get out of the traps and get in there, then he would be able to do something about Aaron Slide. He reckons he can outmaneuver the Hondas round this track, even though they've got a bit of superior speed. And he and Hodger are in 2nd and 3rd places ahead of Aaron Slide. What a tremendous start that was. And at the front, though, the man that nobody really wanted to see there if you tried to win the World Championship and your name's not Troy Corser. Oh, and look at Haga going deep into the Gosser curve and then losing out as, I think it was Whittam tried to dip inside him. So Corser leads, Fogarty 2nd, Slide 3rd, Hodgson 4th, and Colin Edwards, to show just how powerful those Castrol Hondas are. The 24-year-old Texan has burst through from the 3rd row. What a performance. And look at Haga. Haga, who we constantly think isn't really showing up as we expect during training. Suddenly he's right there during the race, and the man right behind him, who must have been taken completely by surprise by the light, is James Whittam, who we thought, coming off the front row, had the chance of a good start.
That was a really poor start for James. I hope he can work his way through it. That was a manic start, though. I mean, the 2 Kawasaki's nearly had each other off. There was so many fairings being bashed along there.
So they thunder past us now. The 2 Ducatis absolutely neck and neck. Fogarty goes for the inside. Can he make it? He forces Troy Corser wide. He knows that with the deficit he's got in the World Championship, he's got to be beaten. Oh! And look at Carlos. They set off up the long haul up the hill, moving across on his Australian rival, but has he got the speed to keep it there? He has. Going up to the hairpin where he, oh, and Andrew Stroud's Kawasaki already absolutely done in and parked up. The New Zealander gets off it. That's the end of his race. Fogarty has got the Ducati absolutely nailed. He thinks that even though they haven't got the out-and-out grunt from the corners low down to match the Hondas, they can possibly outmaneuver them around the rest of the track. This is going to be fascinating. Into the Gosser curve, and Fogarty's leading. In 2nd place, Troy Corser. In 3rd place, Aaron Slide. And in 4th place, who have we got? One of the Kawasaki. That is Hodgson still. Hodgson is still there. Hodgson's there ahead of Colin Edwards and ahead of his teammate Yanagawa, the Kawasaki, we really expected to be going fast. Now, if Hodgson's going to stay in the hunt, it'll be a really impressive reversion of what he's felt so far, because he's not liked this place until now. He's been talked into liking it a bit better, and it looks to me like he might get a result on it. But look at the guys at the front. This threesome are breaking what looks to me dangerously clear. It could be between the 3 of them, and they are the front 3 men in the World Championship.
Absolutely, and I'd love to see these 3 racing neck to neck, wheel to wheel for the whole of the 25 laps we've got here today. But if you look a little bit further back, if we get another shot of it, Colin Edwards is working his way through as well.
Edwards will be the danger man, because Edwards had that brake problem, that front brake problem, during his Super Pole lap, which he admitted reduced him to just making sure he stayed on the tarmac and didn't do anything stupid. 5th is Edwards, 6th Yanagawa, 7th Keeley, 8th the amazing Nori Haga on the Yamaha. 4.4 seconds adrift as Aaron Slide takes a look at the inside. Remember this, the hairpin turn, the uphill hairpin turn, where Fogarty made that awful hash of trying to pass John Kaczynski last year, and it collided with the Honda and bailed off into the gravel on one of the daftest looking crashes there have probably ever been. And he was meekly admitting last night that yes, it was actually hesitation on his part. He thought, shall I go for the inside? Oh, no, can I? Yes, I will. And by then it was too late. He was running on too fast. He collided with the Honda and went down. Fogarty doesn't look as if he's in a mood to make the same mistake this time. He really was full of it last night. Troy Corser's girlfriend Sam taking keeping a keen eye on proceedings there and urging on this man, Troy Corser. The Australian flags are out for him. There's one of them right opposite us on the rooftop of the pits here. There'll be plenty of support around. But look at Fogarty. Fogarty has been looking like this, aggressive but absolutely smooth at his best. Oh, and we've lost one. We've lost a yellow Honda. We don't know who on earth it is. Presumably one of the downfield boys.
It's a German privateer riding a VTR 1000 twin Honda that you've really got to work to make competitive.
Oh, and that's Zeiser. Zeiser's Honda has gone, so obviously he was having to work a little bit too hard, and these guys thrash past us now with a considerable gap. A considerable gap over the fourth men and the rest, and these three have definitely opened up a bit of a gap. The fastest lap, 1:31.130, and that's been set by, would you believe, Aaron Slight, the pole position man, as he tries to close down the Ducatis. And here again up the hill, not making it.
Yeah, on that last lap, Aaron Slight took 0.4 of a second out of the leaders. But these guys are all really well experienced. They all know that it's a long race. There's a lot that can go on. You can have mechanical problems, you can have chassis problems, you can have other rider problems. Long distance, they will be thinking about pacing themselves and keeping themselves sane. Oh, and there goes Aaron Slight, disproving me entirely, thinking, right, there's only one way to win this race, and that's from the front.
Well, that's what he intended to do, and the Ducati certainly feared that he could run away with it once he got through in front of them. He knows he needs to be ahead of Troy Corser. What they were hoping is, with the greater strength and depth in World Superbikes these days, that a few other people could get between them and Troy Corser. But it's not looking that way. Corser's made someone else is down. Corser's made such a brilliant start that he's got himself in the breakaway group with his two closest challengers, and the fact is that third place is going to be a good one for him. Third place is going to be a good one for him if these two guys finish ahead. But the point is that the guy who really needs the points is Carl Fogarty, and the way that Fogarty's riding right now as they pick up that crashed bike. Oh, and as they thunder past us, Slight's Honda getting very close to the Ducati. And look at that crew in the background with Akira Yanagawa trying to get up the inside, not quite making it. Killy just behind him. Yeah,
it looks like Neil's beginning to hold that bunch up a little bit, but no worries, Neil can take the pressure. He has to. That's his job. He'll be okay with that. But Colin Edwards is going to be a danger man. Colin Edwards, number 45 on the White Castrol Honda.
And look at these top speeds. Slight 267, 5 faster than Fogarty, and 9 kilometres per hour faster than Troy Corser. And there goes Colin Edwards getting around the outside of the Kawasaki's, and Edwards, now the danger man, comes through into fourth place. And wow, it's not often you see Corser getting quite as loose as that at the back end, but he had a couple of big moments during the course of one particularly big moment in warm-up this morning when he found himself closing more rapidly than he'd realised onto a German back marker and nearly torpedoed the guy. But at the front, Carl Fogarty is there. Second place, Aaron Slight. Third place, Troy Corser.
Don't forget here, Jack, we've got the two most experienced superbike riders in the world here. Carl's the most experienced and the most successful. Aaron's the second most experienced. These guys know exactly what they're doing, and they know each other very well. They've known each other for a long time.
Behind them, Hodgson is still in there. Edwards, I beg your pardon, has got past Hodgson, Yanagawa, Keeley, Hager, James Whittam in 9th place, Peter Goddard in 10th. And that's the group, that's the chasing group. But here they come, thundering past us again, and again trying to get the Honda, Slight trying to get the Honda tucked inside. The last lap of Fogarty's, 1:31.199, so Fogarty got a very fast lap in on that last lap. So he's getting up to pace, he's on the same pace as the Honda, but we know how much Aaron Slight thinks around these races. Could it be that he's just biding his time? He's 7 kilometres per hour quicker on that fast uphill where they reach 180 miles per hour.
Yeah, Carl's done the fastest lap of the race so far. Aaron Slight, interestingly, was only a 1/10 of a second behind him. There's a big gaggle coming up behind. That is a fantastic scrap going on behind.
And the man who's escaping it is Colin Edwards. Edwards edging away from the other guys in pursuit of the front three. But other than that, Hodgson, Yanagawa, Keeley, Whittam and Hager, that's a real dogfight going on from places through from 5th till 9th. And that's not where we wanted to see Whittam. It's not where we expected to see Whittam, because we thought that he would be a little better off from his front row start. But he's got time yet, and the team's confident with their tyres and feel that they'll last well. Now that's interesting also, because the front three guys are on Michelin's, and Fogarty was a little bit wary of what Dunlop might have in the bag. He felt that some of the Dunlop runners might have some better tyres somewhere in the bag, and that they might bring them out for today. And at the moment, the Michelins, he spent a lot of time trying to figure out which tyres were going to last the distance. He feels that after half distance, things could get very critical tyre-wise. And that's Foggy. He's smooth, he's quick, and he's looking good at the front. And of course, he always races very, very well from the front. He's always good at the front, Mark.
Oh,
he always holds on very well and can take the pressure and soak it up.
Absolutely. If anything, it inspires him to go even harder and even faster when he's in the front. He's got his old-fashioned riding style back. He's snapping his arms straight. He's keeping his head down behind the screen. Interesting to see the top speeds. He's going to be down again. Oh, Aaron's trying to run what? No, not going to happen there, Aaron. Hold it back in. That's it. The Kawasaki, the Ducati of Carl's is working really well. A little look over the shoulder there, see what Aaron's doing behind him.
And behind them, Yanagawa finally gets round the outside of his teammate Hodgson, so he could join the breakaway with Colin Edwards, because undoubtedly Hodgson just isn't quite on the pace at the moment. Talking of Kawasaki, he's in 18th place in a Emirati, making a very decent debut in World Superbikes. And look at Jamie Whittam. Whittam drops down into the Gosser curve and nips inside Pier Francesco Killy to pinch 7th place, and that's what he needs. He needs to keep near Yanagawa. He wants to pinch a few points on him.
He absolutely does. Meanwhile, Aaron Slight's just dropped in the fastest lap of the race, a 1:35.0. We're still half a second off qualifying at the moment, but it's still going quick, and the speeds will come down, the lap times will come down as the fuel load comes down.
That 1:35 was actually 1:31. I just want to let you know that times haven't dropped quite that drastically in this race, but at the moment just slipping off the back a bit. Now what can these two guys, look at the way that Yanagawa has opened up. Killy's got back past Whittam. These guys are desperate to get past Neil Hodgson. I'm sorry, Neil, but that seems to be the case. The 24-year-old Lancastrian, now resident in the Isle of Man, is coming under increasing pressure, because you'll see that Yanagawa has nipped straight through. He's caught up with Colin Edwards. Remember, Yanagawa loves this circuit, won here last year, and boy, he wants to be well in the points again this time. And at the front, these two guys certainly do, because race, it's all happening here. Edwards, Yanagawa 4th and 5th. Killy's burst through, and Whittam has overtaken Hodgson, and I think Hodgson may have got him back. It's all happening, crisscrossing everywhere. That man Corser in 3rd place, but look at the chasing bunch now. Killy's come through, Whittam's trying to follow him. He's got past Neil Hodgson, and the man behind Neil Hodgson now is Nori Haga. He's the next one who wants his scalp, and behind them into 10th place has come the amazing Gregorio Lavia, proving how good the Ducatis are around here. Look at this. Now these aren't the leaders, these are the second bunch. That's Colin Edwards, Akira Yanagawa. Oh, Akira, look how his knee goes back in. He's got to grip that tank because he's still a bit weak down the left side from the damage to his left collarbone and left wrist at Laguna Seca. But boy, it doesn't seem to be slowing him down too much. So Yanagawa, Keeley chasing Colin Edwards. Edwards in 4th place, 4.9 seconds behind the leader, but less than that, just 2 seconds behind Troy Corser, and that gap is beginning to dwindle. So it could just be that Corser's going to have a race on his hands if these guys catch up with him.
Absolutely. While we were on the commercial break, Francesco Keeley put in a lap of 1:30.44, which is the fastest lap of the race so far. And we also saw, and Keeley's woken up, he's going for it. He's slid up the inside of Akira Yanagawa now, and he's now chasing down Colin Edwards. That'll be an interesting battle to watch if we keep the cameras on it.
So Keeley, the 34-year-old Italian veteran with tremendous pedigree, Grand Prix wins, 3rd place in the 250 World Championships, and as high as 6th in World Superbikes. And this season possibly destroyed for him by a terrible DNF in both races at Misano in the San Marino round, when he concussed himself during the warm-up before Superpole. But look at the way he's riding now. And this is the guy who says he loves fast turns. He's not comfortable in the hairpin, the tight bottom gear hairpin at the top of the track, but he's enjoying the rest of it, and boy isn't he doing that now as the leaders go hammering past us. Corser goes past, and then past we get Keeley, Edwards, Yanagawa, and then the gap again to Jamie Whittam. Now Whittam's got some work to do. He's got to try and close down these guys. 10 laps into one of the best races of the season, and just look at this lot. So Keeley, can he make the break? Can he catch his teammate on the Virginio Ferrari team? And that's Troy Corser, who's just there, lying 2.78 seconds behind the leaders. There's Corser going into the hairpin in bottom gear. He's Keeley. And the very, very rapid Colin Edwards, Castrol Honda. Castrol Honda, incidentally, want to keep this team together next year. They show terrific loyalty to Aaron Slight. They want him to be back in the team next year. They want to keep the Texan Colin Edwards. And incidentally, there was another team that offered a very great deal of money to get hold of Aaron Slight in 1998, and that was Yamaha. But his loyalty to Castrol Honda meant that he stayed with them, and also, of course, he stayed with such a darn good bike. Whereas the Yamaha, there's a new Yamaha due, and Scott Russell would love to be around to ride it. Nori Haga certainly will be around to ride it, and that'll send the sparks flying next year. At the moment, the Ducati of Pier Francesco Chili is beginning to just open up a little bit of air on Colin Edwards, and this could get very interesting. Look at those guys at the front. We still have Aaron Slight second in the championship, chasing Carl Fogarty third. And that's interesting because, of course, if those roles don't get reversed, Carl would actually nip past Aaron in the championship standings.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Francesco Chili's chasing his teammate. He's taken 1.3 seconds out of the lead that Troy Corsa has over him. So, is team orders going to come into play? Because Francesco isn't, I think he's fourth in the World Championship, whereas Troy's leading it. And I'm sure Troy would be very unhappy if Francesco were to steal points off him.
Well, you know, Troy can tend to be fairly unhappy most of the time, but he's been quite a nice smiling lad this weekend. He seems to have been on top of his game and quite relaxed and comfortable with things. And already the back markers thankfully moving over to keep out of the way, although I don't think number 71's got his rear view mirrors working just at the moment. He hasn't quite seen what's coming up behind him. He'd better get moving over pretty sharp. His number 53, Carban, often the first man lapped. He's getting past, and then Nida Kershaw, number 71. Oh, and there goes Aaron Slight. And that's the move that Fogarty didn't want. Fogarty somehow got to do something about that, and possibly just unsettled a bit by the back markers. Now, Carl reckoned that despite the superior speed of the Honda, if he was right in there, sticking it in with Aaron, then he could muddle it up, mess it up, and make things difficult for him. But here's what happened. So we got Foggy buried on the tank, Aaron with that rather more elbows out style, and look at the speed of the Honda coming round the outside. And Carl, well, he hadn't got quite, he'd got these guys in front of him. Where was he going to go from there? Because Aaron stuck it right up the inside. They get up to 175 miles per hour into sixth gear on that stretch before braking hard for the Gosser curve. And that was a good move. But I feel that the superior power of the Honda probably contributed to it, Mark.
Yes, it certainly did. In fact, Aaron had been running wide on that turn a couple of times. Come on, Carl. You see, now that Carl's always been down on top speeds behind the Honda, but now he's slipstreaming. Now he's actually working behind it. He's not punching the hole in the air. Aaron's doing that, giving Carl an easy ride. He'll be towing him along a little bit.
Up the 12% gradient here, and that is a hard, long haul. Look at this. Foggy reckons he can outbrake the Honda if he gets the chance. And look at the speeds there. Fogarty just 1 kilometre down on the Honda, but this is where he loses. He says this is the problem. The Honda is so quick on that initial burnout of the bends, and if that air opens up too far, then it's going to be difficult for him to get back in and stay in the draft.
Absolutely. That Honda fires out of the... Now look at this. Francesco Chili is caught right at number 7 on the Ducati. Is caught right up at Troy Corsa number 11 Ducati. 0.8 of a second now. It was 3.8 of a second.
And James Whittam on the Suzuki. He's opened up a gap on the guys behind him. He also is giving pretty impressive chase to Edwards and Yanagawa. He's coming on them. That Suzuki is well sorted. It looks like at the moment they've got the right tyres on it. And James is certainly hanging his body out. Absolutely pure Whittam style and going for it. And at the front, Fogarty desperately trying to hang on to Aaron Slight. Oh, he needs those points. He needs to hang on to him. But Aaron has looked so super cool. There's David Tardozzi, Carl Fogarty's team manager, discussing things with his pit crew. And Aaron has just looked so super cool and never really out of shape all weekend. Now, is this where we see Killy begin to ride a protective role with Troy Corsa and shepherd him? Absolutely not. Killy's gone blasting past him, and Troy Corsa's back into fourth place.
I thought I noticed that off the curb cam, and I couldn't believe my own eyes there.
I think the fact is that Killy is going so fast that it would simply be outrageous to try and slow him down. He's right in there.
Yeah, Keely's lapping in 1 minute 30.8, whereas Aaron Slight's lapping in 1 minute 31.1.
So there's quite a difference there. Fogarty on 131.33. So those guys at the moment losing out to this man, the lightning fast man from Bologna, and getting his works right for the first time this year, Frankie Keely. Frankie Keeley then, he's up into third place, and he's suddenly beginning to look like the danger man. And meanwhile, for Troy Corser, the next danger men coming up, looming up on the horizon, the not too distant horizon, are Akira Yanagawa and Colin Edwards. Yanagawa past Edwards and really going hard, and it's wonderful to see the little fella back and in such great form. But this man Keeley, he also enjoying himself round here, and there's his wife and latest addition, anxiously watching the screen. He's promised her he won't crash as much this year, and that was just before he went and sort of dumped himself on his head at Misano. But let's see how he goes on here. He wasn't quite as fast as we expected, nor he expected at Brands Hatch, Mark, but he's looking pretty hot here. But meanwhile, look at the front. Look at the front. At the front there, Fogarty just about hanging on, perhaps 4 or 5 bike lengths behind. Not close enough though to keep right in the draft, is he, as they go off up the hill?
Yes, he is, yeah. I mean, 0.2 of a second, that's close enough. He will, oh, straight. That Honda just fires out of the slow turns. It just romps away. The Ducati, once it gets into its stride, does pull up a little bit, but it's that initial first burst on the throttle. Oh, Carl, here we go. Oh, he was looking at it. Aaron always runs very wide on that turn and leaves it and tries to get some momentum to sweep round. That's how he did the move on Carl last time.
Keeley in 4th place, Corser 5th, Akira 6th. Whittam through to 7th place. So James Whittam, that Super Pole lap was no fluke. Norrie Hager's got past Neil Hodgson, but that Super Pole lap of James Whittam's obviously absolutely not the least bit fluky, because he is really stomping on the Suzuki. The Suzuki that they reckon they finally got running as good as best ever in terms of chassis and engine and tyres. And at the front, Aaron Slight and Carl Fogarty. Foggy just looking like the man of old. He's looking like a guy who could, he really means business here and feels he can win round here, and that's what he's been saying all weekend.
Absolutely. Seeing Whittam up to 7th, getting past Colin Edwards, the Castrol Honda, that's a very impressive moment for him, because I do actually think that the Castrol Honda is quite a bit superior to the Suzuki. James is riding out of his skin. Come on, boy.
The Ducati performance bike still working so hard as they come down onto the start and finish straight, but 10 or 12 bike lengths apart as they come down, absolutely not close enough. How much can he close up on braking? And the answer is not that much. 10 laps to go, and Carl is beginning to lose those critical inches, 0.373 of a second behind. It's really not enough going up the long haul. He can't do anything about making any move on him as they come up to the hairpin, which Carl reckons is positively the best chance he's got of passing. It's really the best place on this track that you can pass. Incidentally, a glimpse there of the rear swing arm of that Ducati, since they've had so many chattering problems with the back end of Carl's Ducati, especially at Brands Hatch, where he said he was having to ride around the problem of it chattering and beginning to step out at the back. He said it took him a while to adjust his riding style. He had to brake earlier, get on the gas earlier to solve it, and that was pushing him wide in the turns. Well, they've reverted to their 1997 heavier swing arm to weight the back end a bit, and he reckons it's cured it. He's feeling a lot more comfortable on the bike and not getting that chattering, at least certainly not during training.
Troy Corser just lost 9/10 of a second on that last lap, which means he's right in the clutches of Akira Yanagawa and James Whittam now. They're very close to him now. There you go, you just see them disappearing down the hill.
And Whittam, as they keel through the Gerhardsberger curve, look where Whittam is. They're right on the back wheel. This is such an impressive performance for the 31-year-old West Yorkshireman. Look at this. He's storming through now. Now, number 52, we're hoping he'll get out the way fairly smartly. That's Esterer on his Kawasaki. And, boy, he needs to, because this gang will eat him up. There's Killy. And now, here's the next punch. Esterer, number 52, getting swept past by Troy Corser. Oh, and Yanagawa just went for it up the inside of Corser. He had that lined up from the moment they were lapping the German, and through he goes. So Yanagawa, what a great ride, coming back from an accident like he had it here at Laguna Seca, and just really by this race he's putting on. And look at James Whittam right in there. Can the Kawasaki hold off the Ducati up the long haul? This will be a real test of Yanagawa's Kawasaki, and I think he stayed there.
James was thinking about moving up on the inside of Troy Corser there, but Troy moved over. I don't think Troy saw him. It gave James a nasty little moment. That nearly pushed him up on the grass.
Well, Whittam now has got to bring his energies back, focus them back onto getting past. Then can he get inside going into Gossa? He can. Oh, very, very close to. Ooh, Sam praying there as a few millimetres separate her beloved husband from Whittam Suzuki. But Whittam squeezes through. He doesn't want to lose sight of Yanagawa. He knows that's the man he wants to nail in the World Championship. He's only 3 points behind him.
Absolutely, it's coming down to World Championship positions between these two now. And James would dearly love to be in front of this man, and he's actually lapping slightly quicker than Akira Yanagawa.
And at the front, oh, and a back marker just gets in between them at the wrong time. That's absolutely what Carl Fogarty can do without, as number 54, Wolf Steiner, gets himself stuck in front. Oh, Carl, baby, get inside there and absolutely screw the throttle. We're going to have to take a quick break now. Don't leave us. We'll be right back with more action. And the good news is we're not taking a break because the action's too good. Aaron Slights there at the front. Carl Fogarty, you can tell by his body language, has not given up on this. No way. Fogarty, 17 laps completed, is still putting everything into chasing that Honda. And at the moment, he's 0.868 of a second behind. And here's Yanagawa, Whittam for company. Troy Corser now back into 6th place. Colin Edwards beginning to close, not going as fast as we expected, but for a newcomer to this circuit, pretty impressive stuff. And in the background, you'll notice that in 8th and 9th positions, a terrific scrap going on between Norrie Hager and Neil Hodgson. Fabulous stuff. And then the next man up, 10th place, Gregorio Lavia, with Peter Goddard right behind him and Scott Russell a couple of seconds down on them. The Suzuki camp, oh, they should be enjoying this because James Whittam, he's thrilled them with his Super Bowl performance, and now he's trying to thrill them with a good race result too.
Don't forget, Jack, that James had the fastest lap in the second race at Brands Hatch. We know that this
a new lap record. Indeed.
New lap record, indeed. Yeah, fantastic. He's actually he's chasing Akira Yanagawa on the Kawasaki. I think we can see this gap, which is about 0.6 of a second. I think we're going to see this gap close down a little bit. Colin Edwards is being dropped off, which I'm quite surprised by. I don't know why that is, but the person that's most surprising me is Troy Corser, because Colin Edwards is now hunting him down. As the caption shows you, yeah.
So, for half a second closer, and here we go, James Whittam trying to get number 54, doesn't seem to get out of the way too smartish, so the boys had better beware of him, Wolf Steiner. He doesn't sound like the sort of man who would give way to, well, he probably lives in the woods round here. Yeah,
that gap between Hodgson and Akira Yanagawa was 0.6 of a second, now 0.3 of a second. I think James might be able to do this. We've got enough laps left to do it.
And Keeley's still a threat in 3rd place. Carl Fogarty, whatever he does, doesn't want to finish lower than 2nd if Aaron Slight's going to win it. But what Foggy did predict, man, you don't know whether Corser's beginning to come back on those boys a bit again, but what he did predict was that the danger for Corser he could end up back in 5th or 6th place, and that could put a little bit of a dent, especially if he or Aaron got the race win, that could put a dent in his World Championship lead, 30 points or no 30 points. So it's fascinating stuff. This race is finely balanced at the moment. We've got 7 laps to go, and we're on the 19th lap now, and it's absolutely on fire. And this boy Keeley, he doesn't seem to be making the progress he was earlier in the race, but he is very gradually clawing space back. 131.046 on his last lap. The only person quicker than that at 131.015 was Aaron Slight. Foggy on 131.429.
Except, I'll have to say, Jack, I'm sorry for James Whittam at 130.9.
130.979 for Whittam. Whittam's really pouring the coals on here, and Whittam is going for it big time as they come hammering past us now. Whittam about 5 bike lengths behind Akira Yanagawa as they flash across the finish line. Troy Corser a couple of seconds down on them, and he needs to keep moving because he's got Colin Edwards' company, but I feel that Colin Edwards is actually beginning to lose ground slightly. Either that or Corser is beginning to pick it up again, and we know how good Corser can be in the latter stages of a race.
Absolutely. We saw a shot a few seconds ago of this guy, Francesco Keeley, using every inch of the curb. He was so close to the grass. He's working hard on this thing. That thing is very powerful. He's using every last bit of it. He can see Carl. He's chasing him down.
And that view back down the hill shows that 12% gradient. As I said yesterday, remarkably similar to a big version of the wonderful Ton Van Eyck Club Circuit in North Wales and Snowdonia, where you go up for the pit bend, up a very similarly shaped snaking rise to a hairpin at the top. Well, these guys have got to put up with a longer, steeper version of that, and it certainly does test these engines to the limit. And of course, those Hondas, they've got such snap from the bottom that they are able to take terrific advantage of that long haul. And it's not the only haul, because when these guys have gone through these bends here, now they're onto another uphill section, up to 6th gear, up to 165 miles per hour before they brake hard, come over the top of the brow, and woof, brake hard down into the fast, beautiful, smooth downhill Jochenrindt curve. and then down to the very last bend and onto the finishing straight.
Just before that Jochen curve, James's telemetry was showing that he's doing 257 kilometres down there with the engine revving to 14,500 revs. So it sounds glorious.
So they're getting nearly as high on the rev counter. And there's in the middle of that picture there, he always looks anxious, but he's a lovely man. Harold Eckholt, the team manager for Kawasaki, keeping an eye on the man that the Kawasaki people feel has been a bit of a disappointment so far this year, but Akira Yanagawa, they surely can't have any complaints with his return to action, because this is a fantastic ride. And Whittam absolutely hunting him, but somehow he's got to get past.
Yeah, I don't know where James is going to do. Look at the power of that Suzuki. 160 brake horsepower coming out of that thing through a contact patch the size of the open hand. Why we? Oh!
And Fogarty really is working hard, isn't he? Look at that, and he gets the wheel airborne again.
Just being a bit ambitious on the power there, just trying to get down the power a little bit early. It shows he hasn't given up though, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And it shows how critical that we said that tyre choice was so critical. He tested so many, up to 9-10 laps during the course of qualifying on Friday and Saturday to see which ones were going to last. And it was surprising how many were getting shredded on the right-hand side. Remember, only 2 left-hand bends here, and they're both together, so the tyre gets a bit cool on the left-hand side. But look at Killy now. After that moment of Carl Fogarty's, Killy's got a sniff of second place.
Yeah, Keely's only 1.7 seconds behind Carl now. He was 2.5 seconds. He's taking bits out of him. He's looking for him. Never give up on Francesco Keely. He may seem like a happy-go-lucky chap, but he always works hard. He always puts a lot of effort in. 4 laps to go now. Aaron Slight in the lead, and it's a commanding lead. 1.6 seconds over Carl Fogarty. Carl's got another couple of seconds over Francesco Keely. 3 seconds gap between first and third. But it can happen. Look at it. Francesco's got his head down, really working hard.
Back downfield as they flew across the finishing line to complete 21 laps. Neil Hodgson had retaken Nori Haga for 8th place. So Hodgson is putting in a pretty impressive performance here, a much better 8th place than he scored on the Ducati last year. Number 12, they're coming up towards lapping Innamarati. Innamarati is the guy in 18th place who was having his debut in World Superbikes, courtesy of Kawasaki Bertocchi. The Italian company didn't want their bikes lying idle till the end of the season because of Giorgio Bontempi's wrist injuries. So he's putting in a pretty brave show, but he better get out of the way pretty soon, because the hot shots of World Superbikes are upon him. And this guy on the Virginio Ferrari bike, Pier Francesco Killy, he's the danger man for Fogarty. I'd love to see Fogarty hold that second place, because it will make a difference, a considerable difference in his potential championship challenge over the coming weeks.
Absolutely. If Aaron wins, Carl comes second, and Troy at the moment, of course, Troy Corser is lying 6th. That's going to open the World Championship to those 3 guys. You can see Assen next week on Eurosport. That could be the clincher, but then we've got Sugo in Japan shortly afterwards.
Number 7, Pier Francesco Killy, and look at that anxious glance behind from Carl Fogarty, because of course Foggy knows that I think Killy is actually they did the right thing by letting Killy through, because he can nail Fogarty.
Interestingly enough, Jack, we just saw his shot back there of Francesco Keely's fairing on the left-hand side, and it's scuffed to bits on the left-hand side. There's only the 2 left turns. Now, very often these superbikers, anyone riding a bike, right-hand side, anyone riding a bike can get their foot pegs down, but to actually get the fairing down is actually not very good on this, because you've gone over the tread. You're actually going past the tread of the slick. Don't know why he's doing that. He's obviously having a moment, sliding the back and losing the grip.
Well, he's obviously, he must be enjoying it. Oh, and is he closing down Carl fast. Now, these are very critical moments for Fogarty. How good is his back tyre? How good is his front one, for that matter? But he knew that tyre choice was going to be critical, and that the second half and the last quarter of the race would absolutely be critical, depending on who'd got the right tyres on. Could it be that Frankie Keely's got a slightly better one than that he has? They're both pretty smooth riders. They don't tend to destroy tyres, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens right now. Count Fogarty out with Keely during the closing laps. 22 laps. Ooh, it's a 25-lap race. Carl Fogarty could do with those 20 points. There's Virginio Ferrari looking to see if he's made the right decision in letting Killy go through to challenge Fogarty rather than holding back. And I certainly think he has done, because Corser's dropped back to 6th place and seems to be pretty much consigned to that. He's 4 seconds adrift of James Whittam, who is still engaged in that tooth and nail struggle with the Kawasaki of Akira Yanagawa. But this is the one that really matters now. Whittam, incidentally, just 3-4 bike lengths behind as they crossed the finishing line a moment ago. So he is still in the hunt for Akira Yanagawa's scalp.
Yep, 2 laps to go, and there's 0.4 of a second between Carl and 0.491. Thank you, between Carl and on the number 2 Ducati and Francesco on the number 7 Ducati.
This is dramatic stuff. Ducati Performance Work versus VDVF Ducati. What can Carl Fogarty do about it? He's somehow got to ride as hard as he can, but defensively not worry about Aaron Slight. Accept that Slighty's got the victory here, but he's got to try and keep ahead of Frankie Keeley. He just knows how important those points are, because and I think, look at how that rear end of Carl Fogarty's is beginning to slew about, and Keeley's looking much more stable. Whatever's happened tyre-wise here, I think that Keeley's got the better setup as of now, with 1.5 laps to go. Is Carl brave enough? The thing is that he's got to try and hang in there, but not do anything absolutely monstrously bad, because he can't afford to lose one of these places.
Yeah, whipping through that chicane on the exit of the Berger curve, you saw that Carl's bike was wobbling a little bit. Francesco's wasn't. Yeah, Francesco's made a better tyre choice, and I know which ones Carl will use in the second race.
If they tell him which ones they are, then I'm sure he'll go for the one that Keeley's got. And here we go. Oh, Carl, what a great look round into the final lap. Get your head down, boy. They've got across the line, only about 4 bike lengths in it. Oh, and this is a critical lap. This is a very, very critical lap in the potential for deciding the destiny of the 1998 World Superbike Championship. Aaron Slight at the front. He'll get 25 precious points. Now remember, Troy Corser's only 30 points ahead of him right now, 30.5. But look at this. Corser just suddenly finds himself amongst back markers. Keep away, please, that man. He was frightening me then, number 71, Niederkirscher. These guys don't realise what a breathtaking part they're taking in this wonderful race. Caban's coming up for the second time. Now, which way round do they go? Fogarty goes for the inside. Phew, that's at least a better decision than he made when Troy Corser passed him there as they were coming up on back markers, and he got himself on the outside. These are the dodgy bits for Carl. It must require so much courage to keep the power on, because that bike is sliding around. Oh, and Carl manages to cut across through the Gerhard Berger curve just in time to block Keeley's attempts to get through. Keeley goes for the inside again. Has he got him? Has he got him? He hasn't. Carl's still hanging on there. This is going to be one of the greatest rides of Carl Fogarty's career if he holds on to this second place. Oh, Carl! He looks over his left shoulder as Fogarty goes for the inside, and Keeley's got through. Fogarty's lost it going into the Jochen curve, but Carl goes for the inside again on the drop to the last bend. I don't think he can do anything about it. Oh, what a brave and courageous failure. I think that Carl Fogarty's going to lose it as they cross the line by 3 bikes lengths. What a desperate shame for the Englishman. So the former world champion gets caught on the line by an exultant Pier Francesco Keeley, and that man at the front, and the applause for a fabulous race. And Keeley waves a sporting hand out at Carl. Carl can't bring himself to actually respond just at the moment. He flings the front wheel in the air. Well, he knows he's made good points, but not as many as he should have done on Troy Corser. Yanagawa steamed home in 4th place, just ahead of James Whittam. In fact, he pulled a gap on James on the last lap. Troy Corser back in 6th place, Edwards 7th, Hodgson 8th, Norrie Hager in 9th place, 10th place. Peter Goddard comes through to pinch it off Levere and Scott Russell.
And Hodgson's done his quickest lap on the last lap of the race.
The last lap of the race, 1:31.437. Well, that augurs well for the second race for him. The 32-year-old New Zealander, Aaron Slight, here he is. He's then absolutely pushed himself into a clear-cut win. It was what he felt he could do if he made the break at the start. He didn't make the break, but he did it anyway. So Aaron Slight, he's been in World Superbikes a long, long time. Amazingly enough, it's only his 12th win, but wins are what he needs if he's going to do anything about Corser, and that's how it's made a difference to the championship. Corser 285.5, Slight 270, Fogarty 257.5. Keeley, of course, 248.5. He's not out of it yet. Edwards 242.5, Hager 213. Yanagawa keeps ahead of Whittam on 145 to 140. Goddard and Russell running out the top 10. But that is critical at the top. And look at that, 4 wins now to his credit this year. Aaron Slight is keeping himself in there with a chance. Just 15.5 points behind, and of course Foggy not out of it yet. He's 18 points down on Troy Corser. He's got to do it again in the second race, hopefully perhaps on a different tyre, but the Castrol Honda, that was the superior machine round the A1 ring today. And Aaron Slight, who only missed out by a whisker on a race victory here last year on the Honda, he got third and places here. He's finally got the win.
That was a fantastic ride from Francesco Chili, coming up from nowhere on the end of the first lap to be able to take second place after the last couple of overtaking moves that Carl tried to block on the last lap. Quite extraordinary.
And Carl did everything he could on an obviously weakening back tyre to see that if he could hold on to that second place, but in the end it just wasn't to be. So the crowd swarmed down the pit lane, the relieved, the happy, the discontent, the relieved. Further back, 13th Gramini, 14th Meklau, 15th Yerman, 16th Pedicini, 7th.
He let the bike warm up, let the tyres warm up, let everybody settle down, let the race speed start to come up, and then he moved up to the front and he commanded it from the front. Very confident.
And they're the first two men being very, very happy with life, and justifiably so. 32-year-old New Zealander Aaron Slight on the Honda, and there's Carl. I really feel for him because he's been in such terrific spirits this weekend, and he really felt he was up for it, and he really did everything he possibly could.
Well, Carl,
and it may be that we'll be speaking to him first.
In the early stages, but couldn't quite keep it to the end.
No, just once the tyre went off, the suspension couldn't cope with it. I was following Aaron, he was like he was on rails, I was all over the place, and had the same tyre as Killian, and I looked at his tyre after the race just now, and it's a lot better condition than mine is, so we had the same tyre, so I need to get the suspension working better for when the tyre goes off, because it was just all over the place. Even at the centre of the tyres, bits are missing, so it's the best I could do really. I thought I could hold him off, but just got me in the last drag up the hill.
Next time though, another one later on.
Yeah, we need to get the suspension working better for the tyre, and hopefully the tyre will look as good as what Frankie said. We can challenge Aaron.
Okay, well, better luck next time. Thank you, Carl.
So he had the same tyre on as Frankie Killy, but Frankie's has survived a bit better. And just look how hard Carl was riding that thing. He really did everything we could reasonably expect of him, and Killy was just looking so smooth. Here he is.
A tremendous race there. You came through from a long way down to get second place.
Yeah, it was a very nice race also for the people. I'm very happy. Unfortunately, I doesn't win, but again, bad start. I need to start already from when I come from warm lap and go straight, because after the beginning everybody want to stay with the guy in front. They try hard in the brake, and it's hard for me push so hard at the beginning, because you must conserve the tire, the brake. And when I can go in front, I believe in myself, and I say, now I can win. But maybe 2-3 laps more, I can win.
Thank you very much, Pier Francesco. Thank you.
Well, if he makes the start in the second race, who knows? He could be the winner. He could finish ahead of Aaron Slight, our winner for 1998 here at the A1 Ring, the first race. This is him.
Well, Aaron, that's done the championship hopes a lot of good, hasn't it?
Yeah, I knew I could ride faster around here. I knew I could win the race, and at the start there, things were pretty even, and the Ducati was really good off the stop corners. It just grunts off the corners, and we can't keep up with that. We get a bit back top end, but not a little, not much, 1 or 2 Ks, and it was more aggressive than ever on the brakes, I think, and that's where I won it. I was past him on the brakes, and it was smooth once I got in front, and that was the way the whole race went for me.
Repeat performance next in a couple of hours' time?
Yeah, we hope so. Everyone's complaining about the tyres and that, but we're all in the same boat, and we're all looking around for something a bit better. But it was pretty good, and we won the race, so I'm pretty happy.
Congratulations, Aaron. Thank you.
Cheers.
Aaron Slight, the 32-year-old New Zealander, times third in the World Championship, once runner-up. Could this be his year? He certainly seems confident, and I don't know whether there's a lot you can change about a bike when you've won as convincingly as that, Mark.
When that well, all you can possibly hope for is getting the bike as good as that for the second race. Aaron was really on the case there. He rode that race so well. He thought about it all the way through. He made the break when he felt comfortable and able to do it. Awesome ride. Yeah, the most interesting ride from Pier Francesco Chili. A terrible start, really walk up first couple of laps, and look at it, just 1.5 seconds down behind Aaron Slight at the end of the race.
Third. It's the podium of Yanagawa, Whittam, Corsair, Edwards, Hodgson a brave 8th, Haga 9th, and Peter Goddard in 10th place on so Hager and Goddard 9th and 10th on their first appearance. They are just losing out on the top, just off Russell, and then the last points going to Gramini, Andy Meckler, a rather disappointing homespun hero there, the present leader of the German Pro Superbike Championships, and Igor Yerman managing to reverse his embarrassment during practice when his new Bertocchi Kawasaki teammate actually put one over him. So he sticks in a point there ahead of Petticini, Copiajo making a brave return, and Inamorati. You can see here the beautiful setting, the crowds, the magnificent corrugated roof, the great setting beyond of the Styrian Mountains. Quite overcast here, but still good light and good conditions for racing. I would think it's absolutely ideal setup for Super Sports and Race 2. Don't forget, we have Race 2, we have the Super Sports coming at 2 o'clock. We have Race 2 of the World Superbikes at 3:30. There's still lots of tremendous action to come. Just be there in front of your screen to cheer on this fella, Carl Fogarty. He knows that you want him to win. He knows desperately badly you want him to win. He said he felt good after Brands Hatch until he actually got home and away from all the excitement, and then came a terrible feeling of disappointment that he'd let the fans down. But we know that you don't see it that way. And second place to the wonderful, the inimitable, the evergreen Frankie Keeley. And get the shades on. It's the cool dude himself. Aaron Slight, Castrol Honda, he's your winner.
Francesco Keeley looks like he's just been for a stroll in the park, doesn't he? How can he look so calm and relaxed, you know, like hi, you know, like no effort at all. It's an amazing. I don't know how he does it.
And the president of the FIM, a very powerful and unnerving politician, Mr. Zerbi, presents the prizes, and he'll obviously, being Italian, he'll be very happy to see Frankie Keeley up on the front. And Keeley, interesting that he thinks he could have won it given another couple of laps. If Keeley were to get out of the gate, that could make quite some second race, because something's got to happen if they're going to beat this guy, and that is Aaron Slight, Castrol Honda, holding up that beautiful engraved piece of glassware and a fabulous bit of fern and sunflower there. He is the winner, and we presumably will get to hear the New Zealand national anthem to acknowledge the fact that Aaron Slight has scored his 12th World Superbike Championship victory.
In fact, I think I can see a New Zealand flag just opposite our commentary box, just to the left of the podium there. It's a shame that it's not in camera shot. That would be nice for Aaron. He'd like that.
Sunflower into the crowd. We're going to take a quick break. Rejoin us again for a couple of moments after the break.
Step into the future. First, there was the Yamaha YZF R1. Now, the legend continues. A new YZF-R arrives on September the 6th.
Suspension, where you can't do that. So the actual fine-tuning, the real fine-tuning of the shock absorber, you can't do. Carl has tried it and prefers the 97, but obviously it didn't work for him this morning as well as it worked for Francesco. So maybe we'll see something there. I'm sure that Carl will have made some shock absorber adjustments, but whether or not he'll be able to cope as well as Francesco's new shock absorber has been able to, only time will tell.
So there you are. You have it from us at Eurosport that Carl Fogarty will be hopefully have fine-tuned a little more his antiquated rear suspension, the stuff that he's happier with, to see if he can get those tyres to last a bit better. Well, he, in common with the rest of the pack, weaving around here at the A1 ring to try and warm everything up. But number 19, Luca Petticini, has shot straight up the pit lane and back to his back to his pit, and he's stepping off his first race bike onto his spare bike and heading straight off again. So something not right with Luca Pedicini's. Remember, he's just returned after having an operation on an arm that they found was fractured and had been for several months. He missed Brands Hatch while he was being operated upon, and he's returned in better health and fitness. But unfortunately, he's losing out on his place on the grid right now because the red flag's up and we're ready to go. Aaron Slight, number 111 in pole position, looking for that good start. Will he get it? Oh, and Whittam this time got a flyer off the inside, but Slight did as well, and this time Fogarty didn't find a way through initially, but look at Whittam. Whittam goes to the outside. If Aaron Slight's got it at the front, then we know that he's liable to be able to break away and really make the race his own. On the way up the hill now, they're pouring out of sight of us up the hill, and it's Slight, Whittam, Peter Goddard. Where did Peter Goddard come from? Goddard's got himself through as well. There's nothing wrong with the way the Suzukis came off the line. Fogarty is just down astern of Neil Hodgson. Well, it's not the best of places to be because Hodgson did create a gap in front of him and a little bit of a convoy behind him in the first race. Fogarty needs to be inside there if he can, and he is, I think, going into Gossard. Has he got it? Yes, he has. So, Slight's in there, Whittam's in there. Goddard, amazingly from the third row, I beg your pardon, the second row, has got his first flying start, I think, since Phillip Island.
A fantastic start for Peter Goddard, a good start for Carl as well. Francesco Keely's up there. Scotty Russell's looking at the back number plates of Colin Edwards' Honda.
Norrie Haga also has come through strongly. Killy has been found wanting once again, so he's got it all to do. And that boy, Mario Innamarati, number 12, the debut boy in World Superbikes, has got the Bertocchi Kawasaki off the line well.
We saw James having a look up the inside of Slight twice, and he's doing it again. James is on fire today. The guy's going for it again. I said he could make a performance here today, but look at Peter Goddard. That is the strongest we've seen him run since the first round in Australia.
And Goddard's been getting better and better, getting more and more acquainted and comfortable with the track as the racing has gone on. And there they go, an absolute freight train, nailing it past us here. Just a blur of colour as Fogarty looks up the inside and gets, I think he got Peter Goddard.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Not, yes, did he? He ran awfully wide on the exit. The Ducati held on, and Troy Corser's right in there trying to make a move around Peter Goddard as well.
Yeah.
The two Australians together. Goddard has lost it. Corser's gone through. Corser's not going to make the same mistake this race. It looks to me as if he's going to be in there and challenging this time.
Sure, Neil Hodgson's dropped back a couple of places, and he and Akira Yanagawa have swapped places as well, so Akira's actually ahead of Neil now. That occurred while Carl Fogarty and Troy Corser were making their moves on him.
So Slight is at the front, second place. And look at that, Lester Harris. On the right-hand side there, the Suzuki team boss looking in amazement at James Whittam. He's been convinced for some time now that Whittam was ever so gradually getting to grips with things and that the results would start to come. And here we have the reverse of Brands Hatch, where it was Carl Fogarty second place, James Whittam third for a long, long time, and Whitt couldn't find a way past. Now Foggy's got to find a way past James.
He has indeed. Meanwhile, Peter Goddard's been mugged by some of the other boys, and he's dropped back to sixth from his amazing opening third place.
Fogarty with Troy Corser behind him. Corser, of course, can see that the man at the front is the danger boy, number 111, the man who ripped 15 points out of his championship lead, and that's number 111, Aaron Slight, as they come back onto the finishing straight for the second time. Right beneath us now, Aaron Slight goes whap, and an absolute freight train of riders behind him. And there's the only gap that appears at the moment is behind Scott Russell. All the factory bikes are together, absolutely nailed together. And then there's a short gap to Gregorio Lavia, struggling and straining with his private Ducati, as Carl Fogarty looks for a way up the inside of Jamie Whittam. And I think he's got it, and I think Whitt might lose out if he's not careful to Troy Corser.
Oh,
but he moves back across on him. Oh, Corser gets pushed out wide, tries to carry on round the outside of the Suzuki. Whittam, who always takes pretty wide exit lines, simply follows that wide exit line out to the curb. There's nowhere for Corser to go. And look at Yanagawa looking for a way past Troy Corser.
Yeah, Troy's working hard to get past James, but then again, James is working hard to stop him getting past. You can't intimidate James Whittam, full stop, no matter what happens.
And no matter who you are.
But these Ducatis, we're all being told that they're slow, and they're just driving past the Suzuki, which we know is quick.
Yeah, he certainly, Fogarty's very, very confident on that uphill, although he feels that they're not just getting the drive straight out of the first turn. He feels that it's the one place you can really expect to pass if you're in the right place, and he's proved that already. And doesn't he look menacing? Isn't he moving well on the bike? And he really is looking like a Carl Fogarty who means business. We saw this in the first race, but of course he had the lead then. Now he's got to find a way past Aaron Slight, and Troy Corser's come through past Jamie Whittam. So Corser has decided that this time he's got things presumably a little bit better tuned, and he knows that he's going to be able to hang in, or he wants to hang in with Fogarty and Slight and limit the potential points damage to his championship lead as Yanagawa looks for a route up the inside. Not quite. James Whittam then now in 4th place. And here they come. And notice, it's noticeable after a really dismal start that number 7, Keeley, is coming rapidly, much more rapidly into the reckoning this time. And the fastest lap time so far, 1:31.26, has gone to Carl Fogarty.
No, 0.25 has gone to Francesco Keeley. He's waking up on the 3rd lap this time.
Yes, at a 100th of a second faster. Keeley definitely has wakened up on the 3rd lap. He's not leaving it till lap 8.
Doing a 22-lap race this afternoon instead of an 18-lap.
Keeley now right on the tail of James Whittam. Frankie Keeley looking like the danger man. Frankie Keeley said that he could be the danger man if he wakened himself up earlier in the race. He has proceeded to do that, and he is looking definitely dangerous and definitely threatening behind Whittam. But Yanagawa also is snaking that Kawasaki. Well, he really has got it on the gas.
Yeah, and he snuck it in front of James. I think Francesco must be jet-lagged after the long journey up from Bologna.
Number 11, Troy Corser, is now closing in on the back of his great rival Carl Fogarty, the man who he finished second to in the championship in 95 and then beat in 96. So they're at it again as they tear across the line, about 3 bike lengths between them in 2nd and 3rd places. Carl's the man who needs the points. He needs them more than Troy, but Troy knows that Aaron Slight's ahead, and he doesn't want to lose too many points on that wicked Castrol Honda as it burns its way out of that straight, up that hill from the first turn. And here's Corser having a go. Can he get through? Ooh, will Fogarty let him? Will he what? Yeah,
slipstream going up there. That is why Troy Corser, number 11, was able to make the drive on Carl, number 2. Yeah, definite slipstream. But I noticed further down that Neil Hodgson there, number 5, is still ahead of number 45, Colin Edwards, on the Other Works Honda. That's a very, very good ride for Neil.
Yes, Hodgson's sticking in there ahead of Colin Edwards, and the Texan, a first-timer here at the track, struggling a bit. And James Whittam taking those wide sweeping lines, and at the moment Keeley's just not quite frustratingly been able to find a way through. Jamie's holding him up well, holding him up strongly as they dive down through the Gerhard Berger bend. Look at this. Troy Corser looking for a way. There's one thing about these World Superbike races, that the sparks fly. You really don't know what the outcome's going to be at this stage in the race, except for the probability that Aaron Slight, if he makes no mistakes and doesn't think himself out of it, could win. And Troy Corser's going for the inside through the Jochenried curve, and I think he might have stuffed it right under Carl Fogarty.
Meanwhile, Francesco Keeley did exactly the same move on James Whittam, going into exactly the same bend. So James has lost another place now.
And here they go. Carl's got a lot to do. Carl's got a lot to do, because he really can't afford to let Corser finish ahead of him if he's thinking in terms of the overall championship positions, and even if he's thinking of winning this race.
Yeah, Troy Corser, meanwhile, has just put in 2 incredibly quick laps, a 30.8 and a 30.6. His last lap was at 30.6. He's flying. Oh, here we go. Aaron, bye-bye. You're going second, mate.
And Troy Corser is a man on a different sort of mission to what he was in the first race. Isn't that extraordinary, the way he switched things round? And he's obviously got things happening. 1:30.693. He's the man who's got the speed together, and he's gone into the lead. And Aaron Slight must be thinking, what the devil's going on here? I thought I was going to get to the front. I said that my plan A was, if I made a good start, and boy, I did make a good start, I could run away with the race.
You know, we were talking earlier about the Ducatis, the Ducati riders been complaining that they're not sharp, that the engines haven't been sharp all weekend. The temperature this afternoon is now up to 21 degrees, back into their optimum operating band.
And certainly they're looking a lot sharper. Well, certainly Troy Corser is looking a lot sharper. He's well in there. He's really is going for it. And Fogarty's still looking menacing in 3rd place. But of course, he's going to be seeing Corser going away from him. And if Corser goes away from him, if he goes away from Slight and Fogarty, he's going to undo quite a bit of the damage that was done in the first race as regards his defending that championship lead. Troy Corser, he's an amazing man. Amazing fella, really. He has been pretty cheerful this weekend. He's obviously looked like things were going to turn out well for him, and right now it's looking like they could. Peter Goddard there, Colin Edwards, who's finally got past Neil Hodgson. And Colin Edwards has got past Neil Hodgson. Hodgson now has a rejuvenated Scott Russell for a company. Norrie, who's ahead of Norrie Haga, surprisingly. Haga, the last of the factory boys, with Levere just behind him. But at the front, the pointed end, the hot end, this boy Keeley beginning to close down. This boy, 34-year-old, but he's a boy. We know he is. He's saying he's had enough of press conferences in English. He wants us all to speak Italian next weekend. Number 111, Aaron Slight. Number 2, Carl Fogarty, old rivals together again. The 32-year-old New Zealander rather, and racing hard against Fogarty, who actually has only been racing 15 years. He's not been racing as long as you might imagine, the boy from Blackburn. Mind you, 15 years isn't long enough in anybody's language. No wonder he occasionally thinks, blow me, have I had enough of this yet? 5th place, James Whitham. Whitham's just got himself in a bit of a hole at the moment. He's slightly lost touch with the guys in front, and he's about a second and a half ahead of his teammate Peter Goddard, the veteran Aussie.
I think we need to keep an eye on Carl Fogarty, because he's not being dropped off by Aaron Slight, even though that I'm certain the Honda is on this circuit a slightly better bike. He's not being dropped off by Aaron Slight on that 111 Honda. I think Carl could actually do something here.
So you think that he may be trying to avoid actually perishing his back tyre before the last few laps of the race?
That could well be the case. I mean, we just saw James sliding his back tyre out of the turn there, which makes me think possibly he used a softer tyre that worked great in the beginning, and it's now already beginning to show signs of age. Possibility, the temperatures have gone up, conditions have changed a bit.
And right now, it certainly is. It's funny how, despite all the things that happened during qualifying, and we think they're going to be different men at the front, somehow we've got the same sort of guys get back there to the front. And at the moment, also impressing is Yanagawa. And Fogarty absolutely weaving and snaking, under-braking there down into the Gossard curve. And he's certainly putting plenty of pressure on those tyres on the downhills. Look at the way he's working that bike.
Yeah, Francesco Keeley down in 5th position. He's actually lapping in virtually the identical time to Troy Corser in the lead. Impressive stuff, but he's got to get some more speed up. Francesco has to catch up with these boys. Akira Yanagawa carrying an injury, doing ever so well after coming back from that awful accident in Laguna Seca. But I really do think that Carl might have something a little bit left here.
I wonder if Akira might think of permanently changing his riding style and using knees against tank a bit more, if this is the sort of performance he produces with it.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to him about it afterwards through his interpreter.
Speaks wonderful English. Wonderful English.
Better than my Japanese. Look, this Honda of Aaron's is not pulling away from Carl Fogarty on these straights.
And it definitely had the edge over the Honda in the first race. The Honda definitely had the edge over the Ducati in the first race.
Absolutely. Oh, big wheelie there from Akira, and he didn't back off for a second. He waited till it came back down.
Fogarty definitely looks as if he's able to keep a bit more in contention. Oh, and Aaron has to move back across him as Foggy looks up the left-hand side going into the hairpin. And coming out of the hairpin, the Ducati not losing the sort of ground it was in the first race. The Honda would snatch a couple of bike lengths coming out of the hairpin in the first race, not this time. So that means that Fogarty is in a better position to try and do something going out into Gossa Curve. But of course, they've made changes to the Brembo with the brakes on the Honda, and Aaron says he's a bit happy with them. He said wait and see in the race, see if they've really got any better. And at the moment, despite all the immense braking that with the effort that we can see Fogarty putting in, he's not managing to get through.
Yeah, but remember that both the Ducatis and the Hondas run with Brembo brake systems. They run identical braking systems, so I don't see why Honda are having a problem with them, because all the bikes weigh the same. I can't work that out. Meanwhile, I've noticed that Colin Edwards is moving up. Colin Edwards, number 45, on the other Castrol Honda. He's actually further up than he was. He's now in 7th place, and he wasn't that high a little while ago.
Swooping through, down onto the start and finish straight, and there is your leader, Troy Corser. Past us now, 3 of them together, Yanagawa and Keeley. Then a gap to James Whitham, who is just about being caught by Edwards and Peter Goddard. Goddard riding amazingly smoothly and quickly, and Keeley getting more of a weave on than we saw him get on throughout the first race, really. He was extremely stable throughout the first race, but he's obviously working very, very hard. He's just set his fastest lap, 1:30.675.
Right, now, we just saw there as they come down the hill with a little bit of a left-hand kink. Aaron Slight on the Honda tends to run a little wider. Carl straight lines through it. And Carl, if we're going to see him move, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see it happen there.
Certainly that's Carl's preferred place for getting some sort of pass in. He hasn't got the braking coming down here. His tyres are putting him all over the shop, dropping down from about 165 miles per hour into that bend.
Oh, it's only the back one, don't worry about it. He'll be okay.
It's only the back one, yes. As long as the front one's sticking on these downhill left-handers and right-handers, then we should be all right.
You saw then as Francesco Chili that we're looking at now, as he turned into that bend, the whole chassis was moving a little bit. It seemed to be pogoing a little bit at the back end. Just saw another flick of it there. It sat down and jumped for a second as it was sitting into the bend as the power was coming back on.
And this is anybody's race. These three guys are very, very tight. And at this stage in the race, 9 laps gone on their 10th. Very, very evenly matched indeed. So it's going to be fascinating to see how the Honda sandwich, which we presently have, eventually develops. 15 laps of this to go.
Yeah, first, second and third separated by half a second, less than half a second. But the lap times are virtually identical for them on each lap. And
Aaron Slight goes up on the inside. A lovely move. Got very tight in as they went past us. And look at the freight train now. You can barely see the three of them apart. Top speeds, they've got to be identical, haven't they? And they pretty much are. Oh, and look at this. Carl is trying to take both of them at once. He's looking for a hole through as they come up that hill. And all the time, Yanagawa and the ever-inching closer Frankie Keeley, number 7. And all these guys running 130s at the moment, although that was a 131.17 and a 131.2 for Yanagawa and Keeley on that lap. They've got to somehow match these front guys. I'm out of breath. Further back, Marathi is 16th, bless him. He's just not quite making it into the points behind that man, Igor Yerman, his teammate. And Gregorio Lavia has just put in his fastest lap, and he's right on the tail of Scott Russell. A very brave performance by the private Checo Ducati. And at the moment, look at those guys charging through there. 5 guys at the front. Any one of these could eventually make the break and be the winner of this race. And here's Carl Fogarty trying again to make an inside pass, but he's got those 2 guys right in line in front of him. And Aaron Slight leads Joy Corsa, leads Carl Fogarty. Oh, Akira Yanagawa, Frankie Keeley, look at these guys. How deep can you get into the fairing, behind the fairing, chin in the tank? And this is a great race. This is going to be a really tight one, and it looks like it could go right to the end. Obviously, as Fogarty said yesterday, it depends how well tyres last. And already they're coming up to lap, guys. Wow, they must be stonking along.
Yeah, and interestingly, they've all gone slower again. They seem to be, I think there's a bit of cat and mouse going on here. We're back up to 31.7s from Troy Corsa. And yeah, on the last lap, we had a 30.7. So where's this extra second come from? I'm not quite certain here.
Yeah, the only one who dipped under 131 on that lap was Pier Francesco Chili at 130.84. Oh, and look at this. Fogarty trying every which way round the outside going through the Lauda curve. Now, that's the first time we've seen anybody try and pull that audacious move. Oh, and now they're going round the outside of the back markers. Close your eyes, boys. Oh, get out of the way. Stay inside there. Don't do anything silly. Good boys.
Yeah, that worked for Aaron, though. He's got a couple of bike lengths between them now.
That's exactly what he needed, wasn't it? Just for the back markers to come up at that point. As suddenly that trio was just slightly extended. Carl also lost a bit of ground. Yanagawa's right with him as they go past us now. And very, very evenly spaced. And half a dozen bike lengths between each bike in the first 5. Here they go, peeling into the first turn. Whap, 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 whap.
On the last lap, first, second, third separated by 0.3 of a second. On that lap, first, second, third separated by 0.7 of a second. Thank you, Mr. Backmarkers. That's what we needed. But I'm sure these boys can get back to it.
Top speeds 266, 266, 266. Well, it could be much more consistent than that. And Killy, of course, we know how well he went towards the end of the first race. We don't know what he might have kept in store, in reserve, because he can cut his way through when he really needs to, and he seemed to be really enjoying this track during the first race. It's notable that these guys have cleared off to the tune of about 7 or 8 seconds ahead of the Whittam, Edwards, Goddard trio.
Yeah, Colin Edwards is right. He's only a tenth of a second behind James Whittam now. That's dangerous news for him. James,
and there's Troy Corser and Carl Fogarty chasing that man Aaron Slight on the Honda. It's tight stuff at the front.
First, there was the Yamaha.
Inside. Start their advance up the hill. Going into that first turn, he got the Ducati alongside and then inside the Australian. And it's number 2, Carl Fogarty, back on the gas again and giving it some. And look at that man, Keeley. Keeley's far away inside Akira Yanagawa. And suddenly, we've got a Honda fending off 3 Ducatis at the front. This is great racing, and look at those swarm of Ducatis there. And remember, there's no team orders as regards the Virginio Ferrari boys. We know that from the first race when Killy just stormed on past Troy Corser. So there's a bit of deja vu here for Troy. He's got that man Frankie Killy right behind him, looking for a way past. And it's breathtaking stuff. Behind this lot, can I just fill you in? Whittam is 6th, Edwards 7th, Goddard 8th. Lavia brilliantly up into 9th place ahead of Hodgson, Russell and Norihaga, who's trailing 23 seconds now off the lead.
We've got a Ducati freight train running here, haven't we? I mean, this is just awesome. We've got, and they're all V's. That's strange. All on Michelin, all with Brembos. Which one's going to work it out? The lap times are still not as quick as they were in the previous race. We're still back up to 31.3s, 31.1, 31.5. Very strange stuff. There's a bit of mugging going on here. I think there's a bit of playmaking going on.
And number 4, Akira Yanagawa, remember he's on Dunlops. He's the only man on Dunlops amongst this crew. And Fogarty was worried that Dunlop had something special up their sleeve. But nothing that Yanagawa is doing really is going to tell us whether that's the case. But remembering that he's riding with a sort of a modified style to compensate for the injuries he's carrying from Laguna Seca, it's absolutely blooming amazing that he's up there in 5th place. That's number 4, Yanagawa. But these guys, look at them. Slight, Fogarty, absolutely together. And they are the guys who fought out the first race until Killy stepped in right at the end. At the moment, Killy's in 4th place. There's just a little bit of air in front of Troy Corser as Killy tries up the inside. He knows he wants to get through. He wants to be into that 3rd place. He doesn't want to lose contact with the leaders.
I've noticed on a couple of occasions, Corser runs very wide on that turn, whereas Keeley doesn't. And Keeley likes to get up the inside. I'm not quite certain if he's going to be brave enough to do it, though, but he's certainly having a think about it. But then again, it's keeping his pace up so that he can then attack him on the next corner as well if that move doesn't work there.
And certainly he is looking for that space, and he is realising that there's just a little bit of a few bike lengths turning into a lead for the front 2 as they come down and pour it onto the start and finish straight. Look at the gap now, and Fogarty right there behind Aaron Slight, 3 bike lengths. And 2 bike lengths between Killy, has he got it, and Corser. I don't know whether Killy was quite close enough. No, he wasn't. And there goes Akira Yanagawa, still right in there. Grandstand view. I don't think he's got much time to look at it. He's too busy fighting that booking Kawasaki. But boy, is he making good use of the modifications that Neil Hodgson had got onto that Kawasaki.
Good move. Oh, I thought he'd got it. I thought he'd got it. He's sat on his gearbox all the way up there. Sat on the tail all the way up there. Snuck in tight. I thought Carl had taken the move there.
And it took a late swing back from
it did,
from
very
Mr.
late
Slight.
Yeah.
A very late swing back.
That was the closest we've seen so far, and it just means Carl's going to have to try a little bit harder. But then again, he's also shown Aaron Slight on the Honda his ace in the hole, hasn't he?
He has,
shown him his best move, yeah.
Would the Ducati be able to live with the Honda if the Ducati went to the front? In the first race, he managed it for a while, and eventually he had to succumb.
Yeah, that is another question, and I'm not entirely certain because I do think that Aaron's actually towing Carl up the hill there on these big runs. I know that the Ducati is definitely a bit crisper in this second race than it was in the first race. Whether they tweaked it themselves or whether it's just purely symptom of the weather conditions. But whether or not he'd be able to lead going up there, I don't know.
And the sun on cue is absolutely blazing down now. It really is beautiful out here. It's very, very warm, and it's the warmest it's been all weekend, and it's obviously suiting the Ducatis down to the ground as they hurtle past us. And Killy close enough to try again, but I just don't think he's close enough. And Sam putting the spell of doom on him there, watching to check that her boyfriend, her fiance, Troy Corser, doesn't lose that third place. Troy, a quick glance over his left shoulder to check proceedings. And Fogarty goes up that left-hand side again, up towards the hairpin. Oh, what a move!
Got him.
Has he got it?
Yeah.
No, he hasn't. No. Because he had to duck round. He had to actually shift his shoulder round that tail ender. And look at Carl lifting the foot wheel. Oh, such a brave man. I think he might have got it there. What a great piece of riding if he did. Can he leave it late enough? Because he's been very squirrely going down here in the last few laps. Oh, they can squirrel together. Carl Fogarty, what a move. You've suddenly become even more of a hero than you were before in my eyes. That was absolutely fabulous. He started that move halfway up the climb from the first turn, and he never yielded on it until he was halfway down the drop and into the hairpin at the Gosser curve. What a brilliant piece of riding.
100% commitment to make that move for half a lap that took. That was amazing. But
while that was going on, Killy had snooped past Corser, and Corser instantly got him back again.
But meanwhile, Aaron will try and strike back immediately. If he doesn't do it now, Aaron will be sitting there nice and close, being pulled up the hill. I'm certain he's got extra power. This race is not over yet.
Far from it. I never for one moment hinted that it was. It's absolutely knocking our breath away here. And going onto the start and finish straight, Killy's got it all to do again. He's the one with the sort of hazard warning triangle on his backside. And Killy, I beg your pardon, is there. He has got back past Corser again. Killy is third, Corser fourth, and Yanagawa is not out of this freight train yet. He's well in there, isn't he? He really is close to Corser. He's right in there, just 0.3 of a second down.
Interestingly, as they came along the front straight there, Aaron actually deliberately pulled out of Carl's slipstream to run alongside.
And we'll be going in possibly to a commercial grape in a moment or two, but stay tuned, we'll be right back.
We're looking at the dawn of a new species.
Looking dangerous on the Honda. Carl Fogarty doing everything he possibly can with 5 laps to go to make a break from the Castrol Honda. He knows how fast, how criminally fast that bike is. And here's Aaron going up the left-hand side, trying the same move, but he switches to the right-hand side. Has he got it up the inside? Carl comes across. No, he hasn't. These two guys have been racing one another for the thick end of 10 years. They must obviously know one another's every nuance, every trick in the book, and obviously also have great faith in one another to be able to race this closely. And it's terrific, nerve-biting stuff to watch. And all the time, that great old warrior, the 34-year-old number 7, Frankie Keeley, is inching in on them. And at the moment, look at that gap going down, 0.894 seconds between the leader Fogarty and Frankie Keeley. Once again, that wide line of Troy Corser's dropping down into the Lauder Bend gives Akira Yanagawa just a momentary glimpse of the possibilities of getting underneath him. But look at these 3 guys. What a great race. These 5 guys. What a great race.
This is doing amazing things. If the race were to finish like this now, it's doing amazing things to the title chase. It would mean that there is 3.
And here goes Yanagawa. No, sorry, not quite, Mark. He was just trying his utmost. He had the thing sideways going down, which is what he didn't quite want in the end. The back end just came round on him a bit, but it shows that he's confident that he can do something about that Ducati. He is intent on getting past the Ducati, and they're going past us now, absolutely neck and neck. Akira pulls out to the right. I think he may have it this time. There's nothing that Troy Corser can do about it.
Corser,
but Corser comes back on. What a great move back, so that a pass is never a pass until it sticks. Yes. In that case, Akira couldn't make it stick. What brilliant retaliation from the World Championship leader.
Slow in and fast out. Very happy with it as well. That was a nice, good, clean bit of work between both riders there. But as I was trying to say, the World Championship situation, if the race were to end like this now, is completely wide open. There are now 3 guys that can win it. There are only 4 races left.
If it finishes like this, 21 laps, and incidentally 21 laps, 37.169 seconds off this thrash for the lead is Norrie Haga. Should he have left that new black stiffened frame in the bin bag? I don't know. It could just be, because Norrie's certainly making nothing of it right now. And the way he likes to ride a bike, I would think he likes a bit of flexibility. But these guys at the front, whatever the state of their chassis, whatever the state of their tyres, they are just intent on winning. This is tremendous. It's echoes of Monza and the breathtaking performances they put on there. And look at Fogarty trying to hold on to that lead.
On that last lap, Pier Francesco Keeley, the Ducati number 7, took half a second out of Aaron Slight's lap time. Took half a second out of his lead. That's impressive work at this stage in the race.
So right now, the last lap's 130.8 for Slight, 131, sorry, for Fogarty, 131.002 for Slight. Oh, and Slight's coming up on the inside, but not quite. Oh, and Slight's looking up there, and now he's going to have another go up the hill, pawing the air. The bike's pawing the air as they come out of that uphill, and look at the stretch ahead of them. Just look at that. Ton Fanai all over again, but it's a longer one, and it's a steeper one, and can't Carl hang on to it? He's got to take that wide line. He's obviously the line that he feels gives the Ducati the sling out of the turn to hang on, and look at him pawing the air as he comes out of that hairpin. I'm absolutely beside myself. Down the hill now. Fogarty knows he's good on the brakes down here, but Slight's got the advantage of being just behind him, pulling out of that slipstream. No, he can't. He decides to follow him through into the Gosser curve. And boy, do these boys deserve a Gosser beer after this lot. And look at the way that the back end of that Ducati is slipping and sliding. I hope Carl's not going to lose it on those tyres, because we know that he did in the closing stages of race 1. But right now we've had 22 laps. After this, just 2 laps left. Scorching stuff. A world championship at stake. So the war and the battle are both there to be won right now.
Actually, Carl's bike looks pretty stable in the turn suspension-wise. If it is sliding, that's because Carl's sliding it.
Oh, and there goes Aaron Slight for the inside, and Slight's just crept through as they go, and it's that bogey point, the Jochen Rindt turn, where he gets through on the inside, comes over the crest of the hill, dives through on the inside. Fogarty takes a quick look over his shoulder, but I don't want you looking over your shoulder, Carl. I'd rather you were looking ahead, because 2 laps to go. You've got to try and redress the balance, and we know that Honda's fast, but what have you got left in the bag? And at the moment, oh, I think that the Honda has just surprised him and broken away slightly. Can he hang on to it going up the hill? He's not close enough to make a move, I don't think, but he's certainly, well, in his books, he's always close enough to make a move. But of course, he's got to be just in the lead when he gets round to that bit, and then he goes for the inside as they come out, or will he wrap it round the outside? Absolutely head down, aggression in every line of his body, and thankfully, Inna Marathi, bless his cotton socks, keep him well out of the way as Carl goes for the inside, but I don't know whether he's going to make it stick. If he does, it's unbelievably great riding. Yes, he has. Carl Fogarty gets through on the inside, but look, instant retaliation from the Castrol Honda, and like we said a few moments ago with Akira Yanagawa, a pass isn't a pass until it sticks, and Carl couldn't quite make it stick on the exit to the turn, but this one isn't dead yet. Look at the Castrol Honda guys, they'll be as tense as anybody. As Neil Tuxworth in the middle of your picture there, in the middle of the inset picture, he'll be living it. Oh, and Carl momentarily lost the left footrest as he switched out of the Gerhard Berger curve into the right flick there.
This is some of the finest racing I've seen all year, if not ever. This is just an amazing battle between these two, and they're not dropping off Francesco Chili. It's awesome stuff. Amazing riding. Come on, Carl. Last lap, I believe. Is it the last lap, Jack? Or we've
it's
got
going into. It should be going into the last lap now. I think 130.9 was the last lap. 130.8 for Slight. 130.8 for Fogarty. 130.9 for Killy. Oh, but Fogarty's got to be closer than that. He's got to somehow get up to that Honda, and he's got to be close enough going up the hill to make something stick. But I feel that there's just a little bit of drift. It's not going to happen. If Carl Fogarty loses this, it's not going to be for want of trying. And up he goes, round he comes. Now it's that Gosser curve again. Well, we've seen what he could do last time. We've seen how he managed to outbrake, but at the moment he's got to get past that tail ender first. It just takes a bit of air, a bit more time, a bit more of a sweep. Has he got it? He can't just quite make it stick. I don't know whether there's anywhere else around the track that the Ducati can get the better of the Honda. I've got a sneaking feeling there isn't. And at the moment, with Yanagawa still 5th behind Corsa, he won't drag enough points back. He won't drag enough points, as many points as he wants back on Troy Corsa. 25, remember, for a win, 20 points for second place, 16 for third, 13 for fourth place. That's the way they stand at the moment. And 111, that would mean 25 points in the bag, which would almost put Aaron Slight on terms for the championship title with Troy Corsa. But look at Fogarty. Oh, is he doing everything or what? But I just don't feel it's no good. The Ducati's just not quite got the edge. We know the Honda has the edge. The Honda's been so impressive all weekend on that particular part of the track, and it continues to be. Look at the way it was able to open up the gap. And Carl doing everything he can to chase the Honda down. And Aaron Slight takes his second double win of his career, the second one of this season. Fogarty, oh, I do feel for him. Did he work or what at that? That was just a wonderful race. Look at him, shaking his head. Despair, sheer despair. He shouldn't feel bad about it. What a race. And Carl Fogarty, I've got to say, hero today. That was just a wonderful ride. And the New Zealander Aaron Slight. Aaron Slight is your winner. He's also made an amazing inroads today in both races into the championship lead of Troy Corser, who got beaten to the line by Akira Yanagawa by just over 1/10 of a second. So Corser was pushed down to 5th place. Whittam 6th. Gregorio Lavilla stormed through to 7th place ahead of Peter Goddard. A tremendous ride for the man who hopes to have a factory Ducati in 1999.
The Superbike World Championship and the Super Sport World Series.